I was going to mention this yesterday, and I'll take a day off of mentioning it yesterday and mention it today. It was front page of the Los Angeles Times that so many Californians are making plans to move abroad that there is a massive industry in relocating Americans to foreign countries. As you say, you weren't the only one who was looking at, Ireland, Portugal. I know you weren't looking at it for yourself personally, but you were kind of looking at this article that was telling you about it. And you get this piece from the LA Times, this guy in Hayward, which is in the Bay Area, toured Spain with a company that specializes in scouting trips for Americans looking to move abroad. And now he's getting a specialized Spanish visa offered to remote workers. It's known as the Digital Nomad Visa. I hope you guys are taking this down, those of you who feel as though America is shifting in a direction that may become intolerable over the next few years. He's going to move within the next 3 years, this guy from Hayward. And he says if a regime like MAGA should take over, I feel like it's time to enjoy a life that's free from any American worry, is his quote.
Wow.
It's in France. There's a real estate agency that is holding a webinar today. It's called Moving to France Post-U.S. Elections.
What?
Yeah.
Bring yourself and your money to France.
Exactly. I mean, there is no opportunity that any of these countries are going to miss to exploit this moment.
Well, if we live in California, Governor Gavin Newsom came out today saying he's now moving to Trump-proof California's laws. He says that the freedoms we hold dear in California are under attack and we won't sit idle. He said, we faced this challenge before and we're prepared to fight in the courts. I know people that are taking down the American flag and putting up a California flag.
Oh, well, that's that ought to do it, right?
Yeah, right. The symbolism of being angry.
That's the resistance. Hashtag resist. I have to say, in fairness, that in leading up to the election, just to be fair, because I do try to be balanced here. I think I've lit up the Democrats a bit. I give you the hard medicine. I haven't been one of those people who's been saying Kamala's going to win and look at all of that. I mean, I haven't. I've been worried. I felt that now I did think that she'd win the popular vote. So I've been delivered the same cold slap in the face that everybody else has. But I'll double back to that in a second. But what I wanted to say was, but there are people, again, to be fair, who are on the other side, and their view is, and this was the case. And this is this robust new industry of moving Americans out of this country into other countries because they're so afraid of what's happening to the politics of this country. There were people who were afraid that Kamala Harris was going to win. Okay, these are right-wingers, and they feel that she's a crazy lib and she's a fanatic, and they attended their own symposiums on YouTube forums. Where to Move Abroad If Kamala Harris Wins is a title of one of those YouTube channels. And there's a Reddit channel called AmeriExit. And the politics of America has become so full of a toxicity and a radicalism, depending on how you look at it, right or left. Now you have to look at it as right, that these global migrations have become more and more of a real possibility. And there are global firms that specialize in moving Americans out.
You have an invitation. Eamon Kelly has a spare room for you in Ireland if you get desperate.
You know what?
Look at that.
I might be getting desperate.
Yeah.
The Irish just seem charming to me. Of course, maybe that's just the way that we digest. My father used to lecture on Irish poetry, and he's very much into Irish literature. And if I ended up in Ireland, it wouldn't be. But the weather in Ireland is just, I'm sorry. Don't knock France. Their government is only socialist compared with dictators in the USA, says SF Tesla. Yeah. Hey, look, France, if you're going there to get away from political problems, you may want to check that out a little bit more carefully, as SF Tesla has just noted. There are protests in the streets a lot. There is a dangerous kind of a teetering of things. Certainly in Paris, you saw some of that. Remember all the cops that were there for the Olympics? And that was out of a real concern that things really might go sideways. And by the way, that's been the history of France, and it's been the history of Europe for a long time. There's an activism there that we just don't have here. There's strikes every summer, and the trains aren't running because they're striking. The garbage is not being picked up because they're striking. So there's really a workers' movement in Europe and in some of these major European cities that we don't typically see in America. I would just be careful about where I moved. Finland is beautiful, says Copper. Yeah, Finland is gorgeous. Finland, I think, is a little tougher when you want to move there, but as Kim noted, it's all just about money. I'd love to live in New Zealand, says Nullifidian. New Zealand is just, is stunning. It's quiet, though, so if you're coming from the Bay Area or Los Angeles or New York or Chicago or Miami, or you better be ready for a more rural life in general in New Zealand, is certainly my experience.
I wonder if they'd ship your Coachella Valley coffee to Belize.
I think they would.
You think so?
Belize, which is a great place to dive if you like diving, right, is closer. And they take U.S. money, and they speak English, says D. Elliott. So, all right, well, we'll put together a comprehensive list.
Oh, well, Randy says, I think people that would move out after an election loss like this are cowards.
Oh, well, Randy likes to, he likes
what
to...
What the hell is going on in the United States of America?
Yeah, Ron gets it. Of course, Ron moved out of the Bay Area when he didn't like San Francisco anymore and moved to Arizona. So
there are people who are legitimately scared. If you belong to a certain segment of a population, you've heard them talk about mass deportations, right? So even if you're here legally, you maybe wonder if you're going to be at risk. If you're in a same-sex marriage, if you whatever. I mean, so there are a lot of people who feel under attack.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.